you. You are correct to woo as such. Hello, world. What's up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We are here live at the Build Studio in New York City. I'm so excited to welcome our next guest back to the show. You saw him not too long ago as Oliver in Crazy Rich Asians, and you can catch him Thursdays on NBC as Mateo in the hilarious show Superstore. The great Nico Santos is back, people. How we feel about that? I'm excited. Are you excited at home? I'm looking at you at home. I know they're excited. I want to make sure you are too. We're going to bring them out in just a moment. But before we do, I believe we have a peek at the show. So let's go ahead and run that clip.
How much do you think I could get for this?
Oh no, you're selling that? It's so gorgeous.
I know, but I need the money.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. I was being so sarcastic there, it came off sincere. It's hideous. Maybe $2?
Maybe there's no point in having a garage sale.
Well, why can't you just find another way to make money?
Well, I thought about doing a webcam, but then Bo said no. And it's like, why does he get to do one and I don't?
Excuse me, how much is this?
You want to buy that?
Yeah.
It's $59.99. Yeah, they're selling like crazy. That's the last one.
Okay.
Great, I can ring you up here. Oh, there might be some old birth control pills in the side pocket there, but you can keep those.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. The great Nico Santos is right here. Nico! Nico, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
God. Yeah, the door's always open for you, dude.
I know you didn't learn your lesson the first time, so you're like,
we're going to
have
keep
him back.
going. We're going to keep going with you. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Now that you're kind of a global star in a way, huh? You know, last time you were here,
I'm trying.
You're doing a great job. Last time you were here, we were still a couple of months away from Crazy Rich Asians, so I only got like your early interpretation of that experience. It hadn't come out yet.
It hadn't come out yet, and wow, that was a
what a ride!
That was a surprise. Yeah, we totally didn't expect that. I mean, like I've said many times, we sort of knew that we were filming something very special. It was a labor of love with everybody involved in the movie. But the fact that it kind of blew up the way it did, we were like, oh my God.
Did it happen? Did it feel like it was fast? I mean, like, first of all, I think we need to recognize we're saying blew up. We're saying it was huge. It was the top grossing romantic comedy of the decade. Like, literally, that's an actual stat. In the past 10 years, nobody's done better than Crazy Rich Asians. I feel like I should hold for applause. I think
I mean, yeah, it's kind of it is kind of insane. I think the fact that the movie was special in so many ways, the highest grossing romantic comedy in the decade, the fact that it had this all Asian cast, it was kind of like the perfect storm that came together.
So all these beautiful things that kind of came together at once. Was there a specific moment in time where you went, oh crap, this thing's huge? Like, did it hit you all at once? Was it gradual? Did people start seeing you and yelling at you?
I think it was still like the top movie 3 weeks in a row in the box office. And like in the third week, we were like, it's still, oh my gosh. Like, yeah. Because we were up against The Meg, which was like the shark movie. And we're like, we're probably going to get eaten.
You thought The Meg was going to take it down?
I don't know. People see the box office nowadays. You know, superhero movies are doing well. And
to be fair, it did have Jason Statham and a giant shark.
I mean, listen.
I'd be scared of that too. If that's what I was going up against.
I was going to go see it.
You wouldn't go see your own movie. You were going to see The Meg.
I was going to see both. You know, I got $20 to spare.
Have you guys kept touch since the show, since the movie? Rather?
We have. I mean, like, that's the great thing about making that movie is that I really gained like a whole new family. Yeah. Like, I didn't really have like an Asian crew before. I didn't. Like, I moved from the Philippines to Oregon.
Fair enough.
When I was like a teenager, so which I was like one of like 3 Asians in the entire state. So I was like, okay, there's nobody else here. And when I went to college, it's the same thing. And the circle of friends that I had in San Francisco and LA were mostly my comedian friends. Yeah. So there was some Asian people, but I didn't like roll deep with like an Asian crew up until I filmed the movie. Now I'm like, yeah, it's my Crazy Rich Asians.
It's your Asian
crew. Where I
roll
with, yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff I want to get into in a little bit because you're doing another great thing right now. You're in Jesse Eisenberg's play.
Yes.
And we're going to talk all about that. We're going to get into that. But first and foremost, I'm super excited for you because I heard season 5's official not too long ago, confirmed. You guys are coming back, Superstore, another year. That's fantastic.
We are coming back.
There you go, another applause break. That's 2.
Season 5.
Superstar. I told you. Do it.
Yeah, we're filming season 5 starting in August.
Really?
So yes, so we're very excited. Any chance I get to work with these lovely people, I just cherish. It's great. So we're doing right now we're doing 13 episodes for season 5. But you know, like we're there's I think only 4 more episodes left for season 4. So it'll be really interesting. What season 5 will bring us, because season 4 ends in a big way.
You guys love to do that, Monash. You love to leave us a little bit of the big way, big ending.
It's a dark ending.
Is it dark?
It's dark.
Oh.
It's dork. It's dork. It's a
The
dork.
notch shadier than dark. Is
Yeah, it's
It's
exactly.
a little bit more.
Yeah. So-
Another big thing for next year, not just season 5. I saw this is pretty exciting. New showrunners coming on board. I mean, they've been on the show for a while.
Yes,
They're not like strangers.
yes.
Yeah.
Gabe Miller and Jonathan Green, who have been co-showrunners since season 1. They're sort of like stepping up to the plate. Justin is stepping out and doing more stuff for NBC and Universal TV, and they're amazing. They're amazing. So we couldn't be in more capable hands. So
Yeah, well, it's such a great. Sometimes I wouldn't say often, but occasionally when that happens on a show, it could be like a weird situation or an awkward situation of like, oh, this person's leaving and now these people are taking over. But
Yeah.
it feels like everything on this show is just one big happy family. Like, oh, he's going to do more stuff, and now these guys are doing more stuff.
That's exactly what it is. And like, you know, we've had writers leave the writers' room who have now gone on to produce their own pilots and series. And so it's like we're awesome. We're really, really happy for them. It's really awesome for them. We miss them because they're amazing, talented writers. But, you know, like you kind of want to see everybody like, you know, like fly, like run free and fly.
Everybody deserves an opportunity to be a worldwide superstar.
I mean, that's what we all want, right?
That's what we're all working towards.
Yeah.
That's what the point of all this
Exactly.
is. That's it. You know, I'm really excited. Do you know anything about what's going to happen with Mateo in season 5 yet? You just know when you guys start. They haven't told you anything?
They haven't told me anything. So, and again, like we'll just have to see like what happens. But I have a few ideas of where I want to take the story, but I would really love to meet Mateo's family.
That's a cool idea.
Like I would really love to meet Mateo's family. Like, you know, he's Filipino, I'm Filipino. Like we all come from like large, crazy families. So I would really love to meet Mateo's mom.
Are they receptive to your, I don't know, feedback or your thoughts or ideas? Do they ask you like, hey, what do you think Mateo should do? Or
We do. We meet with the writers at the top of the season, and they sort of ask us like if we have any ideas about like where we wanted the character go, or just anything like they want to ask basically, and they kind of like will draw from our lives or if there are any parallels, because the lines are blurred between the characters. I mean, like Ben and Jonah are pretty much one and the same person. So,
well, that's something I was really curious about, because we did touch on that last time you were here, that you pull so much of yourself to put into Mateo, and I was curious, as we enter season 5, 4 seasons under your belt, is that line getting blurrier? Are you becoming more similar, or are you both growing a little farther apart as you both grow as people? Where are we on the spectrum?
There's definitely parallels. You know, I mean, because if things were different in my life, I could have ended up just like Mateo. You know, I moved to this country like, you know, I was supposed to move to this country when I was really young, and I would imagine that if my parents decided not to bring me back to the Philippines and we just like stayed, that, you know, my life would end up just like Mateo's, sort of like an undocumented, you know, worker in an everyday store in America. So
You worked retail at one point.
I
many
did.
moons ago, didn't you?
I did.
Sorry,
It's like-
I did too. If it makes you feel any better.
Yeah, I sold like handbags and gowns and what have you. So
iPhones and laptops.
Yeah.
So it's not a glamorous life.
listen,
but
customer service is,
Yeah.
is not fun.
I genuinely
not
think that
fun.
everyone should. Our other host, Ricky, he worked in a restaurant. He thinks everybody should work in the food business. I think everybody should work in the food business or customer service
Yeah.
in general at some point.
I've worked both.
You've done
and
both?
I've done both. So I've been
You
like
should host this show.
I've worked as a salesperson in high-end retail, and then I was a host at a restaurant in Los Angeles. And let me tell you, like I've like never been treated more like garbage as a host at a restaurant. Like I was used to like helping like all these like crazy high maintenance customers in high end retail, but like when you work at a restaurant and you're dealing with people who are hungry and want their food, like they will scream at your face like with no problem.
I don't want to open up any old wounds here, but what's the worst what's the worst thing you could share that you remember? Is there a moment from that moment, a dark moment in time that somebody was so mean to you?
Well, it's LA, so I got a lot of like, "Do you know who I am?" I'm like, "I don't." I'm
Best
like,
response.
"Yes, I don't." Congratulations on your one line that you did on whatever CSI, but I don't have a table for you. Yeah, people would just like really scream at you if you didn't have, or like they didn't have a reservation. They'd be like, "Well, I should just get a table." I'm like, "Do you see one? Because if you can see a table that's open, I will give it to you." Yeah, people are just mean. People are mean. Yeah.
People are mean, and I would never in a million years, especially coming from that world, assume you would behave in that way. But have you ever felt close to it? Have you ever felt pushed by society, like a moment in time where you're like, in a second, I'm going to have to tell them I was in crazy vacations? Like,
but here's the thing. So I worked in customer service, and so I understand. Listen, I understand that there are like really shitty customers out there, and people have tempers and whatnot. But I also understand what the job is and how to do the job. So when I encounter somebody who cannot do the job properly, then I get really pissed. Then I'm like, okay, let me. Then actually, like, I go to Twitter and I'm just like, these motherfuckers. I had to drag Uber one time. Ugh.
Really?
I did, because I was a victim of vomit fraud, you guys. I don't know if you've ever experienced that.
Go on. I am
Vomit fraud.
throwing out the cards, and we're only talking about this experience.
Oh my God! This whole talk has just become like, beware of vomit fraud. Basically, these people like just scam you and like say that you puked in their car
Get out of here.
when you didn't, and they have pictures. They
Where
have
do they-
fake pictures.
No.
Yes, but listen, I will say Uber resolved it after I dragged them on Twitter.
That's insane. Real
Yeah.
quick, anyone show of hands had this? One person? Two people?
Yeah, I got that email saying we've adjusted your fare. I'm like, adjusted my fare? Okay, what happened? And
So how far did you have? Like, at what point did they go? Oh, obviously you didn't vomit in this car.
well, I
Like,
spoke. I was corresponding with two different customer service people who refused to fix the problem, and then showed me like there's pictures of you puking. I'm like, this was I took a ride to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I can assure you, I did not puke.
Yeah.
It wasn't like at 2 a.m. At the clubs or anything like that. I was on my way to work, and they refused to fix the problem.
What a weird world we live in.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is something that is fascinating.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening my eyes.
I
to
have a
that.
short fuse when it comes to customer service, actually, because
get
I know,
that. Yeah, especially when you come from when you've done it yourself, and you will hold you. I don't know about you, but I get this impression. I would hold myself to a high standard as well. Is that it's not the greatest job, but it's my job, and I'm going to crush it. And so when I encounter somebody who's really phoning it in, and it's just like, I've been there. This will go faster if you just work with me.
I turn into that white lady who's just like, "Can I speak to your manager, please?" I become that lady.
You become that lady.
Yeah. With a haircut and everything.
Sometimes you got just a little bit of that lady. It's not, it's just how the world works. I want to ask you, I'm going to bring it back to Superstore for a second, because one of the things that I love about Mateo is how much over the seasons we've gotten to fold into to flesh him out, to make him this three-dimensional, actual human being, a queer person, undocumented individual. You were in a relationship at one, but there's so many things that are oddly enough groundbreaking for a NBC must-see TV style, like Thursday night big comedy show that you've gotten to play this character and be this person. I want to start with one. When you first joined the show, did you know any of that trajectory? How much did you know they were going to get into his undocumented status and all that?
No,
stuff?
not at all. I mean, like, that's the thing. When the show first started, he was very much just like, this sassy, bitchy employee. And it could have very one note for his character. But the fact that he is, they decided to introduce the undocumented storyline, really just rounded out who Mateo was, and you sort of like understand like where he comes from now and why he is so competitive and why he is the way he is, and because the stakes are really are really high for him, like higher than probably more than the other characters in the show. And he has a love life, generally when you see queer characters on television, especially in a sitcom setting, they're usually castrated and they don't date, and they're just like, they're gay, but they're not that gay, They're just, they don't got a life. Yeah. But with him, he really is like, he has a dating life. He has he's a rich, full life that, and then, it's rare to see. So.
Have you been at all surprised at the response and how people? I heard at one point, I forget where I was reading, that somebody people are stopping you on the street occasionally and talking to you about how much this character means to them and stuff like that. Did you expect any of that?
I didn't. The topic about the representation and diversity, has really shifted in the last 5 years. So I knew that being an out queer character and an actor portraying a queer character, and the fact that I'm also Filipino and Asian, that was definitely going to mean a lot to people. But having Mateo's undocumented storyline out there, I've gotten a lot of sort of like people coming up to me telling me how much that particular storyline meant to them. Like I've had couples come up to me. It's like, my partner is undocumented, and like what you go through in the show is exactly what we go through in real life, and there are so many things that we can and can't do because of that of his status, and to be able to sort of see themselves being a person of color, queer, and undocumented, seeing on television is like something they never thought would ever happen. So, it's really surreal because that sometimes never enters my head. I'm just like trying to be a working actor in Hollywood, like I just want to get the job, but then you do this type of work and you sort of like this work means a lot to other people. So yeah.
Is that when you remember that? Is that something that hits you less when you're on set in the moment when you're being Mateo, and more when you're out in the wild, more when you're off camera? That's something that kind of comes.
It hits me every time. I drive to work, or it really like having to feel grateful and sort of like being aware of what that is. Like it does hit me sort of like every day. Every time I drive into work, I'm kind of just like. For somebody like me who like grew up in the Philippines and I moved here at 16, like not knowing what my life was gonna be like, and also like, I never thought that I would have a full such a full and rich career, being just openly myself. Like I've always thought that I was gonna sort of have to downplay my Asianness and my queerness, and the fact that I continue to work and book roles that are like Asian and queer, and those parts of me are not they're celebrated.
Yeah,
like
they're
that's
celebrated, exactly.
Yeah, and it's more than I've ever dreamed of. So
pretty beautiful thing, man.
It's great.
Talking about surreal stuff and surreal moments and hitting you in waves, you're in Happy Talk right now.
Yes.
With some incredible actors.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's so exciting. I think it opens next week, though, right? You guys are you still in?
We're in previews at the moment.
Now. Okay.
We open on the 16th. But yeah, it's Happy Talk. It's a new play by Jesse Eisenberg.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah. I think he's got a future.
That kid's got legs.
Yeah. There's a future to that kid. Also, another actor that you probably have never heard of, Susan Sarandon. Is also in it. Yeah, this young whippersnapper named Susan Sarandon.
Upstart.
Yeah, exactly.
What are these characters we're doing right now? Are these old-timey Hollywood people? Yeah, that person's going places.
The kid stays in the picture. Exactly. Yeah. Bring me Susan.
That's so wild. So you're Susan Sarandon? Forgive me.
Marin Ireland.
Yes, Marin Ireland
who is an incredible actress. Yes, veteran stage actress. She's amazing. It's we also have Dan Oreskes, who was in Oslo and Broadway last year, and Tedra Milan. There's only 5 of us in the play, and I feel like I'm working with the best. It's the theater company is called The New Group, and they do incredible work. But I was actually just like trying to figure out like what I was gonna do during the hiatus for Superstore, and this opportunity came my way. Literally, like the last week of filming Superstore, the finale. I was like, I haven't booked another acting job yet. I haven't booked like a movie or whatever. I'd been auditioning, but I hadn't booked anything yet. And then this came along. They're like, do you want to see if you want to be in an off-Broadway play written by Jesse Eisenberg and Susan Sarandon. I'm like, yeah, I think I do.
I'll make the time.
So they're like, you have to live in New York. I'm like, okay. Twist my arm.
Yeah,
So.
that's insane. When's the last time you were on stage? Like the last play? Because not counting stand-up.
Not the last play I was in 20 years ago.
No, really?
20 years ago.
Good for you.
Yes,
dude.
the last play I was in was actually a community theater production of My Fair Lady.
Perfect.
Yes, starring a very young, I think she was 18 at the time, Megan Hilty, who played Eliza Doolittle.
Really?
Yes, exactly. And so, like, at the time, we were like, bitch, who are you? Because she would sing, and we were like, oh, why are you in Southern Oregon doing community theater? Like, you know, and then we're like, you're going to be so famous one day. And then she became Megan Hilty, and we were just like, oh my God, yeah.
Was she ever like, you too, Nico? And you were like,
Nobody, listen, nobody thought that about me.
You get a lot of that.
I didn't think that about me.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's
no.
why I am so grateful for the career that I've had, because this was not yes, I dreamed of it,
Right.
but it was a dream. Like, you know, I
totally.
never thought it was going to happen.
No.
My goal was, you know, when I started doing stand-up and I was sort of getting traction and getting work as a host and as a feature act around the country, I was like, if I can just like pay my bills doing this and pay my rent, and then, you know, that was the goal. Honestly, that was what I thought was possible for a person of color and somebody who was so queer as
Right.
I am. But all of this is just ridiculous icing, extra triple icing on the cake that I never thought was possible.
do you still get time to do? I mean, not now with the theater and all that stuff, but stand-up. Have you been able to go back and do a little bit? Of stand-up?
Yeah, I've done a little bit. It's a little hard with the schedule, but yeah, I'm actually had a bunch of stand-up dates lined up that I had to cancel to do the play.
You gotta do the play.
So hopefully, once the play ends, I'm able to sort of do some
That's
more.
a whole nother
stand-up
conversation
gigs.
I want to have with you. All right, well, we're running. I got to go to the audience questions. I want to make sure we have time for those. Kate's telling me we got a whole bunch in here. So I got 3 questions in the room. The first one is coming to me from, I think you, sir. You have a microphone. You're walking with purpose.
All right.
Go ahead, ask your question.
All right.
Always with purpose. I have 2 questions. The first is more serious. How do you think the success of Crazy Rich Asians is changing the future of Asians Americans in Hollywood, mainstream media? And the second one, which is easier, how'd you keep a straight face with all those very funny people on the set?
The second question. Let's get to the easier question. It was very hard. We broke a lot on that set. So luckily, it's film. So they just yell cut, and we compose ourselves, and then we just continue. Or sometimes John will just be like, just keep rolling, and we'll just try to keep. There's actually, I think, a couple of places where you could tell that we were kind of just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But like acting with Ken Jeong, I mean, like he's so ridiculously funny that there were definitely moments where just like I have to like look away from the camera because it's too crazy. But to the first question, it's definitely helped change the industry a lot. I mean, a lot of sort of like projects involving Asian casts and Asian writers have been greenlit this season, and you know the casting directors for Superstore actually are also casting Kevin Kwan's pilot for CBS, and they were actually had a little bit of a challenge trying to cast the pilot because all the Asian actors were working. So, you know, we're a decidedly smaller pool, but it's almost like disheartening and encouraging to hear the fact that like they couldn't find enough people, but they couldn't find enough people because all the Asian actors were out there working already. So it's definitely changing. Like, you know, people are using the movie to be like, it's like Crazy Rich Asians meets this, and it's like, you know, the project gets greenlit. So it's definitely shifted the conversation.
Thank you for your question. That was great. I have to ask, wouldn't be doing my job. Sequel. What have they talked to you at all about the
listen,
follow-up? I know you're ready.
All I know that is it's being written. Okay. We can't wait to film it. We have to, wait till everybody's schedules line up. So hopefully soon, we'll see sooner than later.
Did you guys ever talk about that in the little group thread? You got a little group text thread with
We
everybody?
have a little group text going since day one. Yeah. So, we're just kind of like waiting. We're like, phone's got to ring at some point.
Yeah, we all are. All right, cool. Thank you for that. We've got 2 more in the room. Next one's right here in the front. Go for it.
Hi. It looks like you work with a super fun cast of actors, but do you have a favorite character that you like to do scenes with the most?
Ooh, I do love doing scenes with Cheyenne, with Nicole Bloom, and I think it's a pairing that the audiences love as well. But so when Cheyenne and Mateo get together, they're kind of like the Tweedledee and Tweedledum of the show, and we just get to be stupid bitches in the show, and it is my favorite thing to do. Especially, they also encourage us a lot to improvise in the show. So, yeah. So when we get together, we kind of just get to just go off, and it's so much fun. It's very therapeutic in a way.
When you two were starting a business earlier, I think it was this season, and
Mateo.
Yeah, Mateo. That was amazing. Is there a moment that stands out in your memory of terms of you guys were improvising and just went off the rails? You couldn't believe how long you went for, or some of the stuff that came out made it.
Not from me, but Mark McKinney is
of course
obviously a comedy legend, and so watching him sort of work, and Lauren Ash too. Actually, when we filmed the pilot, there was a break room scene, and Mark McKinney and Lauren Ash just sort of improvising different warning codes or alarm codes or something like that. It was code red, code blue, whatever, and the scene just went on forever, and they just started improvising different codes, and we were like, what has happened? This was our second day of filming. So it was that time we're like, oh, this is going to be really special working with these people.
Right away.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for your question. Okay, I got one more. Let's do one more question from right over here with the microphone.
I'm a huge fan of the show. I just wanted to ask, what's your favorite quote that you have said on the show and another cast member has said on the show? Superstore.
My favorite is a line that I improvised on the pilot where Mateo goes, "If you don't work hard, baby Jesus will cry." And I improvised that, and I was so happy it made it in. Somebody that else has said half the things that Dina says, actually, I'm just she's so funny.
So good.
She's so funny, yeah. But also, Cheyenne has some pretty great lines. She recently had an episode said that one of Bo's suits was haunted. I thought that was such a silly, stupid line. It was so great. Yeah.
That was another great question. And shout out, great shirt. It's got everybody on there. Amy, Jonah, Glenn, Dina, Garrett. Yeah, it's got the whole thing. Well done. We're out of time. I know. Wow. It's a bummer. But it flies by when we're having a great time and talking here. So I want to remind the world, if you aren't already, you need to be watching Superstore. All right, there's only a couple episodes left this season, and it's, I want to say, Thursdays at 8, 7 Central on NBC.
I think there are 2 tonight.
Are there 2?
I believe so. I think there are 2 episodes of Superstore tonight.
My gosh. And all the research I did, I didn't come across that. There's 2 tonight, supposedly. Hey, and guess what? If you haven't caught up, go on Hulu. They're all there. You can watch them all back to back. You can binge it. You'd have a great time. I want to thank everybody who's watching at home, and I want to thank our audience right here for being amazing and asking great questions. You know what? While you're doing that, make it louder and keep it going, and join me in thanking the great Nico Santos for being here. Make some noise.